So I try to remember water breaks, but often I do forget. I'm sorry about that. So if you just listen to your bodies and take a sip of water whenever you need one, and also that applies as well for just taking a break. If at any point you just need a rest, you need to stop, or if any of the poses or movements don't feel right for your body, then please take a break and just sit that one out and join back in when you're ready. So today we just need our chairs, making sure that we're on a nice level, non-slip surface. So if, like me, you're on a wooden floor or a tiled floor, if you have got a yoga mat that you can put underneath your chair just to stop it from sliding around, that's great. We will be placing our weight onto the chair today, so you want to make sure it's not going to slip out from underneath you. Other than that, we just need ourselves. So let's get started. So first thing we're going to do is just think about our posture. So first of all, sitting on our chairs, making sure that we are, backwards a little bit, so I'm trying to consider my feet, making sure that we're sitting up from the back of the chair. We're using our backs to sit up straight, placing our feet on the floor, thinking about creating a right angle at the knees and the ankles. So we've not got the legs tucked underneath or stretched out in front. We've got a lovely 90-degree bend at the knees, the hips and the ankles. We're sitting up tall, thinking about pressing our bottoms down to the chair. So we're connecting our sits bones with the seat of the chair. Sitting up tall, stacking the spine, vertebrae onto the vertebrae, all the way up, lengthening the neck, and thinking about extending up out of the top of the head. If it's helpful here, you can imagine a piece of string tied to the top of your head that's pulling you up gently towards the sky. And then we're going to take our shoulders and just do a gentle shoulder roll, up, back, and down, slightly opening the chest, drawing the shoulder blades down and together at the back. And then just taking a moment to see how this feels in our bodies. So sometimes it can feel a bit alien to be sitting up straight and to be concentrating on our posture. It's not something we tend to think about and be particularly mindful of during our day, and often we can end up in some really bad habits that create tension in the shoulders and the lower back. So we're really trying here just to be conscious and mindful of how it feels to sit up tall. And I've got a little challenge for you this week. I'd like to see if you can try and return to this posture whenever you're sat in a chair, even if you're sat on a sofa that's, somewhere that's a little bit more squidgy and comfortable. Just see if you can be a little bit more mindful about the way that you're sitting. Think about your posture. And then when we come back to our class next week, notice whether that's helped anything feel a little bit better throughout the week. Whether things feel a little bit less tight in the shoulders, whether there's a bit less pressure in the lower back. See if you can sit mindfully this week. Okay, from here, relaxing our hands into our laps, we're just going to start with 3 deep mindful breaths, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. So here we go, all together. Big deep breath in through the nose, all the way down to the bottom of the lungs, feeling the chest open slightly as the lungs expand. And then breathing out through the mouth, slow and controlled out breath, not letting it all go at once. Nice long out breath. And again, sitting up tall, breathing in through the nose, all the way to the bottom of the lungs. And breathing out through the mouth, and trying to keep that lovely tall posture as we breathe out, so we're not slouching into the out breath. One more time, big deep breath in, all the way to the bottom of the lungs, and breathing out, slow and controlled. Excellent. So today I really wanted to focus on slowing things down a little bit. So last week's sequence, we were moving quite quickly from pose to pose, we were testing our brains as well as our bodies, and we were working with movements that were quite quick after one another. And this week, what I'd like us to do is just draw back a little bit, slow things down slightly, and really concentrate on some technique and breathing. And also just on taking our time and, like sitting in the chair, trying to be mindful and conscious of what we're doing and how we're doing it. First of all, we're just going to start to warm our body up, and we're going to introduce some of that lovely deep breathing just to help bring that sense of slowing and calming down into our movements. So starting from the top of the body, we're just going to take the head gently over to one side, roll the chin to the chest, and then come back up to the other side, ear to shoulder, and again in the other direction. Excellent, nice and slow, taking our time. We're just starting to mobilize the body here, so we want to be really gentle with ourselves. 2 more of these. Excellent. 1 more. And then gently bringing the head back up to the middle and moving to the shoulders. We're going to take our shoulder circles, and this time I want you to think about your breathing at the same time. So as we take the shoulders up, we're going to breathe in and breathe out as we roll them down. Back, up, breathe in, forwards, down, breathe out. Back and up, breathe in, forwards and down, breathe out. Let's do 2 more. Back and up, breathe in, forwards and down, breathe out. Relaxing your arms, letting them flow with the shoulders. Now breathing out as we come back to the bottom. Okay. And then changing direction. So forwards and up, breathe in. Back and down, breathing out. Forwards and up, breathing in, relaxing the arms. Back and down, breathing out. Forwards and up, breathing in. Back and down, breathing out. Forwards and up, breathing in. Back and down, breathing out. 1 more. Forwards and up, breathing in. Back and down, breathing out. Excellent. And then taking the shoulders all the way up to the ears for 1 big squeeze. We're going to breathe in as we shrug the shoulders up to the ears. Hold it there for 3. And then after the count of 3, a big exhale and relax the shoulders back down. So here we go. Breathing in, shrugging the shoulders all the way up to the ears, holding it here for 1, 2, 3, relaxing and breathing out. Excellent. And then this time, we're going to move into the chest and the back. So a little bit like our cat and cow poses that I'm sure you've done before and we've done before. We're going to focus on opening the chest and then coming back through a neutral spine and then rounding the back. So if I just turn to the side for a minute so you can see what we're focusing on here. Starting from a nice neutral spine, we're going to think about pressing the chest forwards and opening the chest to the front, pressing the back forwards as well here, so creating a nice dip in the back, looking up and out, and then moving through that neutral spine to then curve the back, tuck the chin down towards the chest, bring the shoulders forward slightly, so we're creating a lovely stretch across the top of the shoulders and all the way down the back as it rounds, thinking about drawing the belly button in towards the spine. Okay, as we do that, we're going to add some arms. So first of all, we're going to open that chest up and think about opening the arms with it, taking them just behind you. So we're not straining and stretching beyond our own comfort zone here, just opening the arms enough to help open that chest here. And then bringing the arms back round and imagining you're hugging a tree as you curve the spine back, looking down into your lap. And then let's add to the breathing, opening the arms, breathing in, looking up, hugging your tree, curving the spine, breathing out, looking down into your lap. Do 4 more. 1, 2, breathing in, opening up, breathing out, curving down. 3. Last one. Excellent, well done. And then coming back to your neutral spine and just relaxing your arms by your sides. Next, we're going to move into the legs and the hips. And we're just going to start by drawing one knee up towards the chest, wrapping our arms around and giving that leg a hug. So picking one leg up, hugging the leg in towards the chest, and a bit like the exercise we've just been doing, we're thinking about curving the spine, rounding the back as we hug that knee in. So hugging in, and then releasing. And again, hugging in, and releasing. 2 more. Hugging, and releasing. Keeping on the same side. 1 more. Hugging, and releasing. Now this time we're going to lift the knee, take hold of the shin, and guide the ankle up onto the thigh of the opposite leg. We're going to sit up tall, and then from here we're just going to start to mobilize the hip by gently lifting the knee up and then opening it out. So let's do that 4 times all together. 1, nice and gentle. 2, keep that breathing flowing in and out. 3, last one, and 4. Excellent. And then just gently placing the hands on top of that leg, sitting up tall. We're just going to take a gentle forward fold from the hips, just to stretch through that hip a little bit here. Taking it nice and easy, just starting to wake up in the hips. And then sitting tall and releasing that leg back to the floor to do the same on the other side. So lifting the leg, hugging the knee in. 1, placing it back down. 2, and 3. Rounding in the back, that knee comes up to meet you. And 4. Placing the leg back on the floor. And this time, as you pick the leg up, we're going to take the ankle and place it on top of the opposite thigh. And then gently holding onto the knee, we're going to lift up for 1 and down. 2 and down. 3 down. And 4. And down. And then placing the hands on top of the leg, sitting up tall and just hinging forward in the hips slightly, introducing that little stretch into the hip, thinking about relaxing the leg, trying to let that knee open out to the side as much as possible, using your breathing here, breathing in, thinking about sitting up tall, breathing out and seeing if we can relax into that stretch a little bit further. Excellent. And then gently releasing that leg back down to the floor, moving into our feet and ankles next. We're just going to take some gentle rises through the feet. So lifting the heels, working through the center of the foot and then onto the ball of the foot, and then rolling all the way back down. Let's do that 8 times all together. Here we go. 1 and down. 2 and down. 3. Really thinking about working all the way through your feet here. 4, 5, 6, 2 more, 7, and 8. Lovely. And then gently extending one leg away from you. It doesn't matter here whether you've got your heel on the floor or whether your foot is lifted. We're just going to take some gentle ankle circles. So wherever you are, taking the foot round in one direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then changing direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then swapping legs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, changing direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Excellent. Bringing the feet back to the floor. Okay, we're going to move on to our strength work now. Hopefully we're feeling a little bit warmer, a little bit more mobilized through the body, and we're ready to start working a little bit harder. So picking up your weights, or if you don't want to use weights today, that's absolutely fine. You can join in with all of these exercises, just creating a fist with your hand to create a little bit of tension through those arm muscles. Picking up your weights if you're using them, we're going to start with some bicep curls. Now, normally, we might just pump away here with our bicep curls, but what I'd like you to think about today is slowing that down. And we're going to really focus on slowing the down movement. So let me just show you as an example first, and then we'll work all together. So we're going to lift up, and then on the down, we're going to really slow that down, hold that tension in the arms all the way down to the bottom before we go again. And we're going to use our breath. So we're going to breathe in as we lift up, and then we're going to use that out breath, nice and slow and controlled, to really help guide the arms back down in a nice, slow, controlled motion. So tucking the elbows in towards the waist, making sure the shoulders are rolled back, the shoulder blades are slightly together behind you. And if you want to here, you can take the arms out slightly on a diagonal to create a little bit of space. If you find it difficult to keep the elbows into the waist with your hands directly in front of you, you can take them out slightly, okay? So let's do this all together. We're going to do 8 slow down bicep curls. Here we go. 1 and slow. 2 and slow down. 3 and slow down. Remembering to think about the breathing as well. Breathing in and out. 2, 3, 4, and in and out. 2, 3, 4. Excellent. We've got 2 more here. And nice and slow on the down. Last one. Excellent, well done. Okay, and then turning the hands so that the hands are now facing down towards the floor. We're going to move to side raise. So the same principle here, lifting up to shoulder height as you breathe in, and then breathing out and slowly lowering all the way back down. Now you might notice, especially with this one, that you can feel some tension in your tummy as you're lowering the arms down. So actually, by slowing the movement down, we're also engaging some more of our core muscles to help with that movement. So it's actually even more of a workout just by slowing things down. So what I want you to also think about with this one is something that I've mentioned before about imagining your tummy as part of a jacket. You're going to wrap your jacket round and zip it up the front to hold and engage those tummy muscles as we lower the arms. So starting by thinking about zipping up that coat, engaging those tummy muscles, and then we'll do 8 shoulder raises. Here we go. So up and down, nice and slow. Breathing in and out. In and out. Up and down, halfway through, 4 more to go. In and out, nice and slow on the down. Up, out. Last one. Up and out. Excellent. And then coming up to the shoulders next for a shoulder press. So lifting the weights to shoulder height. We're going to press up overhead, and then again, nice and slow on the down. And as you bring your arms down, I want you to think about drawing a straight line with your hands or your weights down the side of your head to come back to the shoulder. So we're trying to control it so that we're not wobbling on the way down. Nice, controlled, straight line on the way down. And again, we're breathing in as we push up, and a nice slow out breath as we come down to the shoulders nice and slowly. Okay, rolling the shoulders back and down, bringing the weights up to the shoulders. Here we go, breathing in and out. Pressing up and down, nice and slow and controlled. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Good job. Number 5. Nice and slow on the down. 6. You really start to feel it in your shoulders now. 7. Keep breathing. And last one. 8. Excellent. Just pop your weights down before we move on to the next one. Your shoulders, a little wiggle, circle, shake, whatever you need to do, just to release through the shoulders a little bit. So that's quite a intense workout for the shoulders there. Okay, the last one we're going to do is back row. So we did look at this last week, but for those that might not have been here, I want you to think about tipping forward slightly in the hips, folding forwards, keeping that nice flat back. So if I turn to the side, should be able to see. So just tipping forwards in the back so that your chest is now over your knees and you've got space for your hands to come down either side of your legs. And then from here, we're drawing the elbows up and back at the side of the body and then lowering back down. So it's a row motion with the arms. And again here, we're going to squeeze up and then lower down, nice and slow. Breathing in as we lift up and breathing out as we lower. So let's do that all together 8 times. Here we go. Breathing in, squeezing up, breathing out and lowering, nice and slow. Breathing in, squeezing up, breathing out and lowering, nice and slow. Thinking about keeping your neck nice and long here. So we're not crunching the chin down towards the chest. Find somewhere ahead of you to look along the floor to keep that neck nice and long. Halfway, 4 more to go. Up and slow on the way down and up. Breathing as well, out breath as you come down. Breathing in as we squeeze up. Slow out breath on the way down. Last one. Up and out. Excellent. And then letting go of your weights now. And just giving your arms, your shoulders a little shake. Releasing the hard work that you've been doing in the arms there. Okay, excellent. So that's quite a lot of focus on the strength in our arms. And we're going to move on to a flowing chair sequence now. That's going to focus a little bit more on our legs. So we're getting a full body workout here today. So moving to standing and turning your chair so that you've got some space behind you. So I'm going to turn this way so that I've got some space to work behind me and I've still got my mat to stand on. We're going to be coming into a position where our legs are going to be back here and our arms are going to be on the chair. So we need to make sure we've got space for this. Okay. We're going to start initially though, standing a little bit closer to the chair, feet hip distance apart, standing tall, stacking the spine on top of the hips, thinking about a nice neutral spine here. So we're not, again, opening the chest or rounding and slouching. We're standing tall, rolling the shoulders up, back and down. We're going to begin with a big deep breath in, reaching the arms all the way up overhead into mountain pose. And then breathing out and folding forwards, placing our hands onto the chair. Breathing in and looking ahead, coming into our tabletop position. So we're creating a nice flat back, like the top of the table. And we're looking just slightly ahead to keep a little bit of length in the neck. And then from here, we're going to step back with feet and come into our downward facing dog pose. So keeping the hands on the chair, stepping the feet backwards, and then pushing the hips back, behind, pushing the bottom back, stretching through the arms, and thinking about sinking the chest down towards the thighs. And just taking a moment to breathe here. So we're going to work on quite a slow sequence today. Thinking about that slowing down that we talked about at the beginning. So taking a few lovely deep breaths here, noticing any places in the body that feel tight. So like me, you might be feeling a little bit tight through the glute, through the bottom muscles today, perhaps in the hips. Maybe the legs are feeling quite tight if you've been doing lots of walking this week. Just remembering in this pose that we're trying to keep the knees soft. So we're not going to lock the legs out, just a little soft bend in the knees, just to protect those knee joints. Okay, from here, we're going to step 1 foot forwards and come into a lunge position. And then I just want you to adjust the back foot so it's now at 45 degrees. So we've got a nice bend in the front leg, the back leg is straight, and we're just using the chair to support our weight. And then we're going to bring the torso up into Warrior One. Now you can use your thigh here to help you come up straight. And then we're going to breathe in and reach all the way up overhead. Thinking about reaching tall up to the sky, and then breathing out and sinking a little bit lower. Now, depending on how flexible you're feeling today, you might want to open your legs a little wider here. So if you're noticing that you're managing to bend that front knee and it's starting to go forwards over the ankle, covering those front toes, then you might want to just take that back leg a little bit further away so that you can bend down into that front knee without compromising the knee and the ankle here. So you want to make sure the knee is over the ankle. We're not rolling in or out. We're going to hold this pose for 2 rounds of breath. So breathing in, thinking about reaching up tall, and breathing out and sinking down a little bit further. And again, breathing in, reaching up tall, and breathing out and sinking down a little bit further. And then from here, we're going to open to Warrior Two. So first of all, we're going to bring the back heel in a little so that our back foot is now in line with the back of the mat, or if it's easier to think about it, it's at 90 degrees to the front foot. So the front foot is facing forwards and the back foot is facing out to the side. Then we're going to open the arms to the side, turn the hips and the chest to face the side, coming into Warrior Two. Trying to keep those hands at shoulder height if you can. And 2 rounds of breath here, breathing in, thinking about reaching tall through the top of the head, breathing out and seeing if you can sink down a little bit further. And again, breathing in, thinking about being tall. We're also thinking here about tucking the tailbone under. So we're not sticking our bottoms out behind, we're tucking the tailbone underneath and sinking down a little bit further. Excellent. Now, if you can maintain this position, then we're going to move into a salutation to the sun. So the back arm is going to reach down the back leg, and the front arm is going to turn, palm facing up, and reach all the way up to the sky. And if you can, we're going to look up to those fingertips. So we're stretching all the way down the side body here, and we're squeezing in the opposite side, looking up. 2 rounds of breath here, breathing in and breathing out. And again, trying to relax through that top shoulder. Excellent. And then from here, we're going to bring that front arm down, and here you can use the chair to support you. So bringing the front hand down onto the chair, and then the back arm is going to sweep all the way up and over and we're coming into an extended side angle. So we're aiming here to see if we can create a lovely straight line from that back heel all the way up the body to the fingertips. Okay, so if you're noticing that your hips are sticking up at the back here and you've got a bit of a kink in your line, see if you can press those hips down, bend into that front knee a little bit further, and make that lovely straight line. Again, we're thinking about that chest being open to the front here. Breathing in and reaching up through to the fingertips, breathing out and stretching. One more deep breath in, reaching up and out of the fingertips, and breathing out and sinking down. Excellent. Then bringing both hands to the chair now, turning the hips to face the chair, adjusting the back foot so that it's facing forwards with the toes on the floor. You can bring your heels to the floor here, then excellent. If like me, you've got quite tight Achilles, don't worry about that as long as we're thinking about stretching the heel towards the floor. And then pressing through the hands, releasing the front foot, stepping it back to join the back foot, and coming back to our down facing dog. Pressing the hips back, straightening and stretching through the arms, thinking about drawing the chest towards the thighs, however that looks for you. And then if you can, just giving your head a little shake. Yeah, looking from side to side, nice and gently. We'll take 2 rounds of breath here. Breathing in, and breathing out. And again, noticing if this feels a little bit more relaxed than last time we came into this pose. Are you managing to stretch a little bit deeper into those legs? And then stepping forwards, walking your feet forwards towards the chair, coming back to our flat back, looking ahead, creating a lovely tabletop, breathing in, and then breathing out and coming down to a full fold. If you can rest the forearms on the chair here. If you're here, that's absolutely fine. Just work with your own body. And then with the next in-breath, coming back to our flat back, breathing out here, and then pressing back into the legs as we breathe in, sweep all the way up to standing, and breathe out, and bring the hands down the middle. Okay, so that's the whole sequence on one side. So this time we're going to step and open on the other side. So before we go into the sequence, just think about which leg you used first. Now I stepped back with my left leg first, so I have my front leg in front, my left leg in front, it is the front leg, that's very confusing. my left leg back, my right leg in front for warrior one. So this time I'm going to step back with my right leg and keep the left leg forwards. If you're mirroring me, then we're going to be turning away from the camera this time. Okay, so here we go. Feet hip distance apart, standing tall, rolling the shoulders up, back and down, and then taking a big deep breath in, reaching all the way up to mountain pose. Breathing out and folding forwards, bringing the hands to the chair. And then reaching back nice and long into our tabletop position. Breathing in and out. And then stepping back into our downward facing dog position. Pressing the hips backwards. Dropping the chest. Thinking about drawing the chest to the thighs. Gentle, little soft bend in the knees, so we're not locking those knees out. Stretching through the arms. 2 lovely big deep breaths here. Okay. And then stepping forwards with one leg, so we're working the other side of the body this time. And then adjusting the back foot, so it's at 45 degrees. And coming into that lunge position. So we're bent in the front leg and straight in the back leg. From here, we're walking the hands up to bring the torso and up and stack it on top of the hips. Keeping the hips facing forwards in this pose, sweeping the arms forwards and up into warrior one. Standing tall as you breathe in and sinking down as you breathe out. Remembering that you can open those legs a little bit longer if you feel you need to. Making sure that that knee is staying over the ankle, so we're not letting the knee come all the way forwards. That's going to create a bit of trouble for our knees there. Another breath here. Big deep breath in as you reach up, breathing out and sinking down. Okay, then we're going to move into warrior two. So first of all, turning that back foot so it's now at 90 degrees to the front foot, opening the hips to the side, opening the arms out to shoulder height, tucking your tailbone underneath so we're not sticking the bottoms out. Breathing in, reaching up through the top of the head, breathing out and sinking down. And again, big deep breath in, reaching up through the top of the head, and breathing out and sinking down. And then from here, we're reaching the back hand down the back leg, squeezing through the side of the body, and then lifting the front arm all the way up, turning the palm up, looking up towards that hand as we stretch through the front side of the body. 2 big deep breaths here, breathing in, out, and again. In and out. And then sweeping that front hand forward, coming onto the chair, sweeping the back arm up and over, thinking about squeezing that hip in so that we're creating a lovely straight line from the back heel all the way up to the top fingers. 2 rounds of breath here. And as you're breathing, I just want you to think about how the 2 different sides of your bodies feel. Did you notice through the sequence that one side of your body feels a little tighter than the other perhaps? It's quite common that we've got one side where the muscles are harder, are bigger, they work harder if it's the dominant side, and that can feel a bit tighter than the other side of the body. And then sweeping that top arm down, bringing it to the chair, turning the hips that face the chair, releasing the back heel, and then stepping the front foot all the way back. You can walk it in stages if you need to, and coming back to our down facing dog, bringing the chest towards the thighs, stretching the arms, gentle bend in the knees, breathing 2 lovely big deep breaths here. And again, noticing how this feels now. The 4th time you've come into this pose, is it feeling a little bit deeper, a little bit easier, perhaps? Okay, and then from here, walking the feet forwards towards the chair, and then coming into our lovely flat back tabletop pose, stretching through the spine, all the way through the neck and out the top of the head, breathing in and out. And then next in breath, followed by an out breath, coming all the way down to a full fold, bringing the lower arms onto the chair if you can, or keeping the hands on the chair. 2 rounds of breath here. And then coming back to our flat back, 1 more round of breath in as we reach out of the top of the head and out, and then pressing back into the feet, breathing in, sweeping all the way up to standing. Now breathing out, and bringing the hands down the middle. Okay, excellent, well done. So hopefully you're feeling like you've had a really good stretch and a nice workout, but we've kept everything nice and slow and steady. So it just shows that you don't have to be working at high intensity or a high pace in order to really get your bodies warm and working well. And often if we slow things down, we can really think about the technique that we're using as well. So we're going to come back onto our chairs for one last little exercise before we start relaxing and coming into our mindfulness exercise. So I'd like us just to work over the next few weeks on a little balance pose. Now, normally, you might have seen this before done on the floor, but we're going to use our chairs and we're going to use them for support, and over the next few weeks see whether we can build the strength and the confidence to let go of the chair potentially. So we're going to do a boat balance. Now, the first part of this, I'm actually going to move my chair so you can see from the side because it's a little bit clearer. The first part of this is to make sure that we are sitting nice and forwards on the chair and that we've got some space behind us to be able to lean back. So, starting on the front of your chair, holding on to the bottom of your chair, we're going to first engage those tummy muscles. So whether you're thinking about wrapping that jacket and zipping it up, or whether you're just thinking about drawing that belly button in and up, we're going to see if we can engage those tummy muscles. Now, maybe just start by placing your hands on your tummy, relaxing, noticing how that feels, and then thinking about engaging those tummy muscles. And notice the shift there, and that you can feel a bit of tension across the tummy now. So we want to see if we can hold that there while we take hold of the chair, and then lean back slightly, but keeping the back nice and straight. So we're not rounding the back, we're keeping a nice straight back, and we're just leaning back from the hips. And you'll feel that in your tummy already as you start to lean back. And then from here, there's a few different options. So we can start our boat balance with just one leg. So lifting one leg, keeping the knee bent to begin with, and holding it here. And you can choose whether it's 1 round of breath, 2 rounds of breath, or 3 rounds of breath. And then we can swap legs and go on the other side. Okay, and if you're feeling happy here and you want a little bit more, you can try lifting both legs off the floor, bringing the knees towards the chest, leaning back in the chair, really engaging those tummy muscles. And we'll stop here for this week, and we'll bring some extra options in next week. So let's have another go, wherever you're at, whether you're lifting one leg at a time, or whether you're lifting both legs. Let's try to hold for 3 breaths. So you might want to swap halfway through if you're doing one leg at a time. Here we go. Holding on, engaging those tummy muscles, leaning back, and then lifting the legs. Holding for 3 rounds of breath. Excellent. And bringing the feet back to the floor, pressing the back up, and bringing your bottom a little bit further back onto the seat. And just to relax those tummy muscles now, we're just going to take a couple of our breaths from the beginning of our session where we opened it up and then curled in. So just to release the tummy and the lower back, breathing in and opening up, and breathing out and curling in. One more. Excellent. Very good. Okay, and then just giving that tummy a little rub, helping to relax those tummy muscles again. Great. So from here, we're going to start to move into our relaxation and mindfulness. So if you've got any warm layers or a pair of socks you want to pop back on, please just take a moment to do that now before joining me back on your chair. And this time we're going to slide our bottoms to the back and use the backrest. Still thinking about a nice posture through the body, but this time we're relaxing back into the chair. And then relaxing our hands into our laps. If you can, turn your palms up That's a more restful position for your body. And then I invite you here to close your eyes if you want to. And we're going to start to relax through the body, starting with the feet. So curling the feet, the toes into the soles of the feet, scrunching the feet up. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. And then relax. And let any last bits of tension in the feet flow down and away into the ground. And then moving to the legs and thinking about hugging the muscles of the legs tight to the bone. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. And relax. And let any last bits of tension in the legs flow down and away into the ground. And then curling the fingers into the palms of the hands, scrunching the hands into fists. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. And relax. And let any last bits of tension in the hands flow down and away into the ground. And moving to the arms and thinking about hugging the muscles of the arms tight to the bones. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. And relax. And let any last bits of tension in the arms flow down and away into the ground. And then moving to the shoulders and squeezing the shoulders all the way up to the ears. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. And relax. And let any last bits of tension in the shoulders flow down and away into the ground. And then last of all, thinking about the face. Scrunching the eyes shut. Scrunching up the nose, pressing the lips together. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. And relax. And let any last bits of tension in the face flow down and away into the ground. And then coming back to our breath, noticing the in and the out, the rhythm of the breath passing into the body and out of the body. And if you notice you've still got any little spots of tension in the body, see if you can use your breathing and send your breath to any of those tight spots. As you breathe in, think about building energy. And as you breathe out, think about sending that energy to those tight spots and relaxing and releasing. Letting it flow out and away. And again, breathing in, building the energy. And breathing out as you send that energy to any of those tight spots. And then relaxing and releasing. Letting it flow away. And as you continue to focus on your breath here, I want you to start to imagine that instead of sitting on a chair, you're sitting in a boat. And that boat is floating on top of the water. And the water around you seems a bit choppy. There are waves lapping against the side of the boat. And this is how our minds can often feel, like a storm is brewing. And sometimes it can be difficult to know how to calm that storm and just focus on one wave at a time. Often it feels like our boats are being rocked from all directions. What we're going to do today is just try to use our breath to help calm those waters and to help us focus on one wave at a time. So as you imagine your boat rocking around, bouncing on top of the choppy waters, I want you to bring your attention back to your breathing. And as you breathe out, I want you to imagine that those waters begin to calm. And again, another breath. The water's calm further. And keep on breathing until you can picture a lovely, calm, flat water. And your boat starts to stabilize. And you can see around you, see to the horizon, and you can notice some gentle waves on the horizon, traveling towards your boat. And now the waters are calm. You can focus one at a time on heading that boat into the waves, one at a time, facing them head on, deciding whether they're small little waves that you can let pass by, or whether they're bigger, more serious waves that need a bit more focus and attention. Just imagine those waves, a bit like your thoughts. But this time, they're gently approaching the boat one at a time, giving you time and space to focus on them, give them any attention that they need. And then you start to notice that the waters begin to calm again. And you can sit in your boat, feeling the warmth of the sun on your skin, and hearing the gentle sound of the water lapping at the edge of your boat. And just taking a moment here to be still and calm and quiet. And then we're going to start to wake our bodies back up again, giving our toes a wiggle, giving our fingers a wiggle, and then stretching our legs away from us, stretching the arms all the way up overhead, taking a big yawn here if you need to. And then, if you can, we're just going to gently pick up the knees and give them a hug one at a time, squeezing it in towards the chest, rounding the back, and releasing, and then swapping over, hugging the knee in towards the chest, and releasing the leg back down. And then taking a big stretch as we sit forwards towards the front of the chair again, moving in and reaching all the way up, moving down, and bringing the hands down the middle. And then we're just going to return to our beginning posture, our mindful sitting. thinking about placing the feet flat on the floor, creating a right angle at the hips, the knees and the ankles, relaxing the hands into our laps, sitting up tall, stacking the spine, thinking about reaching out of the top of the head, dropping the shoulders back and down. I just want you to take a moment to notice how this feels. Does it feel any different from sitting at the beginning of the session? Does it feel stiffer? Or maybe it feels a little bit more comfortable. Does it feel a little bit more natural now than it did at the beginning? Or not? Just take a moment to pay attention to your body and notice how it feels. And then I really want you to try and cement this sensation into your body and your mind, so that as we work through the week, you can come back to this position a little bit more easily each time. So let's just concentrate and think about how it feels to press the feet firmly into the floor. How does it feel at the ankles, and at the legs, your knees and the hips? Can you feel that slight engagement in the tummy muscles, helping the torso to be strong and stable? Notice the relaxation in the shoulders, and that we're not tensing, letting those shoulders sneak up towards the ears. Notice the length in your spine, up your neck, and out at the top of your head. Just see if you can take a little mental snapshot of how this feels in the body. And then let's finish with 3 lovely big deep breaths. So placing your hands on your tummies, just helping to feel what's going on with the breath here. We're going to breathe in through the nose, sitting up tall, reaching up through the top of the head, and breathing out through the mouth, nice and slow and controlled. And again, big deep breath in, reaching up through the top of the head, sitting tall, allowing those shoulders to drop down away from the ears, and then breathing out all the way, nice and slow and controlled. Last time, big deep breath in through the nose, sitting up tall, and then breathing out through the mouth, slow and controlled all the way down. And then just relaxing the breathing, bringing the hands to the chest. Thank you very much, everybody. I hope you enjoyed today's session, and let's see how we can work on that